Hi, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about senses. So first, I want you to answer these questions. How many senses do we have? Which sense do you think is the most important to you in your everyday life? Which would you be able to cope best without? Like which sense would you be like, it would be okay if I didn't see or if I didn't hear, something like that. Which sense triggers the most memories? Like makes you remember more things? Have you ever lost the use of one of your senses temporarily? Do you think any of your senses is especially well developed? Which sense do we most take for granted? Please pause the video and write down some ideas for each of the questions we're going to share during class. Okay? Great. So, now I have here some sentences that are included, some sentences there. We need to find the verbs and we need to decide if they have a stative meaning, a dynamic meaning, or both. Let's remember that stative are the verbs that we don't move, they are more like mental processes. And dynamic, in these verbs, they are voluntarily and you usually move in them. Or both, they are stative and dynamic. For example, I always watch movies on Saturday nights. Is that stative, dynamic, or both? Well, watch, of course, is dynamic because it is an action that is voluntarily. Now, please pause the video while you find the rest of the verbs and classify them. Okay, let's check on the answers now. So, for stative verbs, we didn't find none that were exclusively stative. For dynamic, we had three: listen, touch, and watch. And some verbs that were both stative or dynamic: see, smell, taste, look, feel, and hear, depending on the sentence. So let's discuss them. So we already said that I always watch movies on Saturday nights. It's a dynamic verb because it is something that I do voluntarily and it involves an action. I see what you mean. In this case, am I really seeing something like physically? No. In that sentence, it would be a stative. However, in another sentence, it might be a dynamic one. Let's take a look at the next sentence. She smells flowers every morning. In this case, it is a dynamic verb, right? She goes to the garden, sees the flowers, and then she smells them. It's something dynamic. The kids are listening to music. This is dynamic. Very good. They have been seeing each other for 4 years now. Here we have the pair of see, right? And this is a dynamic verb. But here, if you notice, the meaning is changes a little. They have been seeing each other means that they have been dating for about 4 years now. We feel that was not a good movie. Is that stative or dynamic? In that sentence, feel is a stative verb. You look good. Again, here we have a stative verb. I hear the birds singing. That is, yeah, this is an dynamic or an active verb. Very good. Peter is not feeling well. That is active. That's the way he feels in this moment. I am looking at your picture on Facebook right now. That is dynamic. It's something I do voluntarily. It's happening right now. We are tasting the drinks. That is dynamic. And if you notice here, the meaning of taste is actually like trying. Look at the next one. Pasta tastes good. Here is a stative verb. Very good. And here we're just talking about the flavor. My mom doesn't hear very well. That is an stative verb. It's not something voluntarily, it's an ability. Coffee smells a lot. Here again, I'm just describing, and since it is not voluntarily and is not involved in an action, it's a stative. She touched the fabric before buying the blouse. Touch, is a dynamic verb. Very good. Now, Look at this sentence. What are the models doing? I can I see it. I can see the problem. I am able to see now. I could see her running down the street. Well, here the models they are giving me more information first, and sometimes they could help us make a stative verb into a dynamic one. And here we're talking about abilities specifically. Now, let's continue. Look at these verbs. Does the meaning change when we use the verbs in progressive form? Look at the first one. I can't see the letters on the poster. I am seeing him tomorrow night. Does the meaning of see change in these sentences? Yeah, it does, right? I cannot see the letters on the poster is talking about my ability to see something. And if I say I am seeing him tomorrow night, it means that I will go out on a date with him tomorrow night. Now, take a look at the other sentences and think, please. Pause the video. Okay? Great. Now let's go ahead and check. She tasted the lack of salt in the food. Here, taste means that she was cooking and she just tried, no, there's not much salt. They are tasting the drink. It means that they have five, six different options and they are trying this. Oh, this is really good. No, I don't like it. They are trying out several. In the other ones, you just want to see that the food is good. She's smelling the flowers is something that is happening in this moment and it is a dynamic verb. Coffee smells good. It's a steady verb and it's just describing coffee. I feel tired and he is not feeling well, right? Something that is more general or that's happening in this moment. Great job. Now let's go ahead and practice. Let's go to student book page 64. Here we're going to complete the sentences with the verbs that I have here in the purple box. You might need to use a modal verb. Okay? For example, if you are blind, if you, then although you can lead a full life and all that, I think it does make you more vulnerable. Do you think we should use feel, hear, listen, look, or see? See, right? It makes sense because we're talking about being blind. Okay, if you are blind, if you see, do you think that would be right? No. What model do you think we're going to use here? That's right, can't. If you are blind, if you cannot see, then although you can lead a full life and all that, I think it does make you more vulnerable. Very good. Now please pause the video while you work on the rest. Okay, great. So we're going to check this during class. Now go to your workbook, page 24. Here we need to read the sentences and find out if they have some mistakes or not. If they have a mistake, you need to correct it, but if not, write a check. Look at the first one. What do you feel like doing? I am feeling like going to the movies? No, right? I feel like going to the movies. That's what I want to do. B. I am not feeling well today. I think it must be the change in the weather. That is correct. Very good. Next one. If you had been hearing the instructions, you would know what to do. And here, this is a mistake, right? If you had heard the instructions, you would know what to do. Very good. Now pause the video to work on the rest, please. Okay, great. So we're going to check this during class. Now please let's go to exercise 2. Here we need to underline the correct verb form. Sometimes both may be possible. I can hear a noise outside. Can you see if it's a cat? She couldn't taste the salt, so she decided to add a little more. Very good. Pause the video, please. Okay, great. So we're going to check this in class. Now go to exercise 3. Here we're going to complete the sentences with an appropriate verb of the tenses. And you may also need to use can, could, or be able to. Look at the example. I love listening to music when I'm working. It really helps me concentrate. B. I The noise of the traffic from my bed, but it doesn't stop me from sleeping. Here, should we use can, could, or be able to? I can hear the noise of the traffic. Very good. Now pause the video, please. Okay, great. Now, guys, before class, I want you to think about this. Which sense do you think is more important and why? Please think about this before class, okay? We're going to share. I'll see you then. Bye bye.